Hey guys, Kate here of Burn One. This is wait, did we have a name for this podcast yet? We
Oh
never.
my god, three times and we don't. It's okay though. This
I,
time,
s-
this
I
is this
okay.
is the real one.
This is
This
the
is
real
the
one.
real quality, by
I
the way.
saw some actually cool ones in that were suggested from last time. Let me see if I can find them. But yeah, I'm Kit Burn One Shadowverse Evolve. We're doing our Burn One podcast. Maybe we'll have a name by the end of this, or okay. No matter what, our next one we have to name this something because we can't let this keep going. All right, right?
Yeah, we saw a lot of fire recommendations, but
We never discussed
naming
it
it.
because we
Yeah,
were
we
both,
never
yeah, we
discussed it.
haven't sat down and talked to each other a bunch because we were both really busy. Let me see here. I mean, like, I've seen some cool ones on here where I think there was one guy said like Shadowcast was pretty cool. Someone was like they want to like maybe do something that's like a derivative of Dragon Oracle, or like talk about some fundamental cards because I don't know why I want to say Nala. It's not Nala. Ignis, right? I think, yeah, he has evolve points. Is that a podcast he does? I don't follow his stuff, but someone said that Igni snatched up evolve points, which is a
Unfortunate.
good one. On evolve sounds pretty cool. Turn one
I don't like that one.
insight. um, but yeah, we probably definitely want it involved in, well, like some mix of Shadowverse terminology, I guess, right?
We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the one that's
For,
Shadowcast or Burn Red.
we gotta go through the story sections and find one that sounds like a podcast.
Yeah, well, you're the lore master. I didn't read any of the lore whenever I played the digital.
I'm pulling it up right now on my end. Don't worry.
Okay.
Pulling up the
Um,
digital game.
yeah, but yeah, welcome to our second official episode. Technically our third, I guess. But yeah, so Dean and I were actually recording this a day earlier because I realized that Monday I have a shop championship to go to for Shadowverse Evolve, so it most likely we wouldn't have time to fit this in. So hopefully, we'll get this
Having
out
so
there.
many locals, so lucky.
Yeah, move to SoCal, get all the locals, but then you have to pay like god crazy prices on like living here, which is the worst part.
Don't like that part.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start off as always. We're going to talk about our locals we went to this weekend and stuff. Dean finally did it. I guess you want to talk? Oops, did I? Oh no, I got this. Yeah. Do you want to talk about your locals?
Yeah, we finally had our first locals. We managed to get 8 people down in our shop. Pretty impressive. I'm in a smaller town. It's not small. It's like, I don't know. How big would you... Is 80,000 people a large town, a large city?
No.
Medium-sized city? It's a
I think
medium-sized city.
sure.
Yeah, we got 8 people down. We had our first locals. We were handing decks around. 3 of us had bought a case, and so we were loaning a lot of decks to other players so that way they could get their hands on it, try out the game. And not only did I have a single locals, we had back-to-back locals because the games are so fast. Best of one, probably not the best format to be honest, but it is what it is. And upon finishing a tournament in about an hour, like right, a 3-round tournament's over in an hour roughly.
Yeah.
Even with new players, people were like, "Let's just go again." So we went again, and definitely was super exciting. For the first tournament, I played Dirt Rune. You'll see a video on it. I mean, we've already uploaded. No, wait. I didn't play Dirt Rune. I let somebody else play. I played the Haven Control list that we put a video out on. Ended 2-1 with one. My one loss was a double loss where we tied.
Yeah.
That was quite funny. And then when we did the run back tournament, I played Flame and Glass Dragon, which you guys will also get to see on video, and I will maybe do a deck profile on. It's a good budget deck for new players. Sometimes, though, it is a little slow, and you'll see that in the video that we upload. But all in all, it was great. Shop also gives out a lot of packs. My current locals has a $9 buy-in with 2 packs per head and pay out the top half. So it's kind of crazy. 8-man tournament's a full box.
An 8-man term is a full box at your local. Jesus.
Yeah, so it's
My
a
locals
pretty
are
good,
kind of cheap.
yeah, pretty good price payout. I thought I wasn't getting anything good until the second one that we had, where I managed to pull a leader. I pulled the Aria.
Ooh, nice.
That was, yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty hype. Always nice. It's always what I do like about this game, especially with like new players too, is that there's so many legendaries in a pack that like when somebody gets like, because of the way our tournament was, if you went 2-1, which I mean an 8-man isn't hard, right? You basically got some packs, and with the density of legendaries, it was like cool to watch people get like a little bit excited because they pull a legendary. So definitely cool that we have such a thick density of like good cards in our packs compared to other games.
Yeah, like when I first opened my case, I was just like, "What? This pack had like 2 legendaries and they were both foil. Is this normal?" It was like the first time ever opening these packs, and so it's opening packs in this game just feels way different. But yeah, and there's like a lot of really good hits too, like even on some golds like Bellringer and stuff like that, right? So,
oh yeah, I watched a player open a single box and he pulled Shatterfoil Lucifer and then Shatterfoil Bellringer. I'm like, that's a pretty good box.
oh my god, dude, they like doubled their value off of those 2 cards alone. Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
but I know you have a lot more locals to talk about, so
yep. Yeah, it was this week. I forgot already. It's my brain has been too gone. But yeah, I 4-0'd my first local this week finally over at Unrated Games in Cerritos, California. A very cool shop. If you're in the area, you should check it out. They I played Swordcraft. If you watched the Swordcraft deck profile I did, that version of the deck I played to get 4-0 there. That deck was a lot of fun, and like the more I played it, I enjoyed it. But then I went to my Saturday locals, played it more, and because I was thinking about the deck a lot more, and I was like, maybe this deck isn't as good as I thought it was. And honestly, the deck is actually really good as long as you stick with the aggressive game plan. It can pivot a little bit to like a mid-range if needed to, but it's very focused on ending the game as soon as possible usually. And when I played in the longer locals where there was 5 rounds and it was a lot more diverse meta, I guess, because, or at least the matchups I had were more diverse compared to the unrated one in Cerritos there. That I played 2 dragons, and I kind of built the deck, or like edited the deck a little bit to play better into dragon. And so like those matchups were like better for me overall. And then like the 2 other matches I played, one was an aggro matchup, so we're just punching each other in the face until one of us got there, and the other one was I want to say it was Haven. I can't remember, but I think I said it in the video, if it really matters. And that matchup went pretty well for me. So now that I had to play into a more diverse locals, like I saw where a lot of the weaknesses of the deck can be like hit. And definitely the longer the game goes, the worse it gets. I played into a Haven matchup. Haven is, with being on aggro sword, was very not good. It was very yabai, as they like to say. They presented like a ward that was very early on that was very hard for me to deal with like efficiently.
You were on that thing?
It was like the Guardian Nun or something. That card, I think.
One. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That card was actually put in so much work, and when I looked at the card like more and thought about it more, I was like, actually, that's a really good like low curve to play in the list, because it does heal you on Evo, and then it gets like almost like 6 defense on the card once it's Evo'd or something like that, something ridiculous, and it makes it very inefficient for people who are on aggro and other things to trade into it very well. They have to, like, if they don't have a spell or something to get rid of it, they kind of get screwed. Seeing that card in action was very powerful. And then my opponent also said like he basically opened up the nuts also for the matchup, so it was very hard for me. I obviously lost that one. And then my next few matches too were very weird. I haven't actually played a lot of Forest Craft matchups, and I played against Forest. I'm kind of vaguely aware of like their game plan. My opponent got an early archer on the board, and there was no way for me to deal with it properly because it had 4 health, and a lot of my single target stuff to remove only hit for 3. And so that let him get a lot of value with the archer into eventually Rose Queen, and I got bursted down with burn damage after that. So once I saw all the weaknesses of like how the deck could fall apart on you if you're not playing into like ideal matchups for the most part, I went back to the drawing board and decided to, like, you know what, I'm just gonna basically give up the aggro game plan and cut things and like hyper focus on doing very good value trades, and like just the mid range game plan, while also still having the tech cards to beat the dragon matchup and like out grind them essentially. And today I went to it was, I think, a Project CCG is the store name I went to, and played in that event. I didn't top 8, but by the end of the event, I was actually very happy with the deck list. I played the deck itself in the match videos that we're gonna be releasing this week, so you'll at least be able to see it in action. And I'll probably make a video about that list too, because it plays completely different than how like the more aggressive Swordcraft deck list plays. So if you're more of like a mid-range player and like to do like value trading and like grind out your opponent, I think this list is much better for people who love that game style. But if you're more into the aggressive game plan, I think the other list is just way better for you. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I feel like I learned a lot this week as far as the game goes, especially like as far as Swordcraft goes, because like I'm kind of like hopping from craft to craft each week, just so I can get a lot of experience with each deck and kind of understand like from their point of view how the matches feel, and you know, going from that. So, but yeah, I had a lot of fun this weekend, and I can't wait to possibly bring Sword into tomorrow's championship thing if I don't end up playing Dragon or something. But yeah,
definitely cool to be able to play in so many locals and being able to get that experience. That's what I feel like I'm going to be missing. I personally have already given up on Forest. I don't want to read their cards. Well, like I know the Forest cards, right? But I don't want to like having one locals versus you have like the benefit of having 3, right?
Yeah.
You said? Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to be focusing on the classes that interest me. And, you know, for me, I like Rune. I don't hate Dragon, so I'm willing to play Dragon, but I honestly despise Forest. I hate playing Forest. So it's kind of like picking your battles with what you choose to play.
Yeah,
but
for
definitely
sure.
that breadth of experience you get by being able to, like, you know, the more games you can play, the more decks you can play, the more prepared you can be, and the more robust list you can make, right?
Yeah, for sure. Although that kind of like reminds me too, like when I went to this championship today, I basically went without ever testing this list that I put together because I built it the night before, and and it was really rough because the rules were 25-minute rounds, right, and then into like turns, and then like compare damage or life totals, that is. And man, if I had more experience on this deck, one of my matches was against Dragon. Because I didn't have as much experience in understanding all the lines, how much mana or play points I have, and like different lines I could go based on how much play points I had available to me immediately. Since I wasn't very quick, we ended up going to time, and even though I was completely winning everything, and like if the game went on like maybe 2-3 more turns, I 100% had the game. Because my opponent was literally had no cards in hand, top deck Shenlong, Evo, top deck Shenlong, Evo. Like that's like the only reason my opponent was able to stay in the game as long as he did. But yeah, definitely learning the ins and outs of your deck are going to be so much more important later on too, when like time becomes more important in these long grinding matchups. If I had more experience, I feel I could have made more snap decisions better and saved more time, so I could have gotten extra turns essentially, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Being on top of your deck and knowing the lines is definitely important. 25 minutes for a best of 1 is a lot of time, but sometimes you do get those grindy matchups, and sometimes the Shenlong keeps hitting the board.
Dude, yeah. It was just literally guy had no hand, top deck Shenlong. Okay, Shenlong, you know, draw 2, ditch also, 1 Evo. I was like, oh my god, why is this happening?
You said it was times and turns and like compare life. But when we were looking into the rules, we saw double game loss as the result of a tie.
Yeah, it was very confusing. I just went with whatever the TO said because they technically have the stuff that Bouchard gave them. I don't know if that was what they were supposed to do, but that was how they ruled everything. We went to turns, and then it was game loss of whoever had less life.
We had a double game loss at our first locals, the 2 new players, so that was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, you should explain that because it's pretty funny. I always thought about that, and I didn't think I would see it so soon or hear about it so soon.
Oh well. We actually I had a tie in one of my rounds where it was a new player, which a tie is just a double loss, so it's unbelievable. where I was fighting against Aggro Abyss, piloted by like one of the new guys. Right, we handed him the deck, and man, there's so much pressure from that deck. There's like the ghosts just hit you so fast, and I couldn't get my tigers up yet. But then I felt like I'd stabilized. I hit him down to 2 health. He had a Dire Bond on board and like a 2-card hand. He pops the Dire Bond, goes to 1, evos the card that summons the ghosts, smacks me for 3, and then I only have 4 health, by the way, at the beginning of this. So he has 1 health, and now I'm at 1 health, and then he plays down Ambling Wraith, causing a double loss.
That's crazy.
Very spiteful thing to do in your locals, but...
Well, you know, in digital, though, like, if he did that in digital, he would have got the loss, correct?
Yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, it's different in physical. But that's just, yeah, that line of play was insane to me.
And then we did have, because we had a second tournament, right, where I handed somebody else, and I handed someone else that Tiger deck that doesn't actually have a win condition other than, like, your opponent running out of cards.
Yeah.
And he had never played the deck, so, like, right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think I sabotaged him. And him and another newer player somehow took the 30-minute clock completely up, and then double game loss is the actual rules. There's no live comparison. There's just, sorry, you guys should have finished the game, is what we found, at least within the rules. Maybe I'm wrong, but we went by it. So
yeah,
probably never going to hand people Haven Control again.
Yeah,
as like
new players going on like control lists and stuff. They're just like reading all the cards, and they're like, "Wait, what am I supposed to do? Just say no to everything until like." Yeah, especially if you're not like aware of the win condition, it can be kind of rough, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, he was aware, but it's like still like, right, there's like a lot of the deck is like slow. It's very slow and doesn't even have a win condition other than like your opponent running out of hand.
Yeah,
which is what it is.
Yep, absolutely. I think that is it for locals talk, I guess. But yeah,
I'm still looking for good podcast names, by the way, guys. That's what I'm doing over here. I'm sending him some spicy ones.
Oh man, we'll definitely talk about it after this, I guess. So our next thing is a little news we have. They recently, like with no announcement whatsoever, well, I guess the announcement was that it was released, is that there is a actual official judge test out right now, along with the full floor rules and rule book and everything posted on the website now. So you can download the PDF, go through all the rules, become a master at Shadowverse, and become a judge. If the program is anything like the Japanese program, they like recently at their GP, they like show off judge promos. So if you're a judge and like work at an event, you'll get a special, I think this one they revealed Bellringer Angel, and it has like a judge stamp on it, right? And then there was another card, it was the Aegis, right? But I think that was for something else, was it?
I thought the Aegis was the new one. The Bellringer should have been the
old one? Or maybe you just can choose or whatever. I didn't pay enough attention.
Looks sick. The Aegis looks sick.
So you can get like special judge promos and stuff like that. So if you're not interested in competing like to be the world champion, basically, I'm sure a lot of people are, but then other people, I know Dean is one of them, who's more interested in like working with the community and becoming a judge and making sure like, you know, the judge, you know, all the judges are up to snuff essentially. Because if you've come from some other games, I'm sure there's been problems all the time, and you always hope to get really good judge. What's up?
It's every game has the problem. It doesn't matter where you go. You hear about the judges that sometimes give the bad rulings.
Yeah, or do some like crazy stuff. I've seen some Pokemon stuff recently. I'm like, oh, okay, like sure. But yeah, you should take a look at that. I think you can find it on the Shadowverse website itself. I actually am not 100% sure. I know. Let me see. I know that they released it on all their social media stuff. Let's see. Okay, on the main page of the Shadowverse Evolve website, I don't see it, so you probably have to go to like their Twitter account. They have a tweet there, and I think they also had it on their Instagram account also. But I guess check Shadowverse Evolve social media accounts. They have up there. It is a test run through Google Forms, I think. Fill it out, send it over, and I assume if you get enough correct or get it all correct, you'll probably come in for an interview process. If it's anything like their other games, like Dean and I have been judges before for like Weiss and other games for Bushiroad, and usually we do, the way it goes is the judge test happens, and they like read a little bit about you. Then at some regional or some event or something, they'll be like you, or I guess maybe they'll call you online. I don't know how they do it nowadays, but you would have to do an in-person interview and an in-person like test again. And then once you pass that, from there they usually approve you as a judge and then get all your information and then give you all the other stuff that the judge might need or whatever. Because I think sometimes they really give you like judge shirts and stuff like that and other things like that. And then you have to like, usually if you like, you have to at least judge one event a year to like keep your judge certificate. Like you got to retest into it. I don't know how harsh they're going to be on that because I don't know if Bushiroad handles that completely or if Cygames has like more control over it or not. I talked to some friends that work at Bushiroad, and they also are kind of always like left in the dark about Shadowverse, because sometimes they'll like talk to me about stuff and I'll ask them questions like about the judge program and stuff, and they're like, dude, we have no idea. Like, we did the test for Vanguard or Weiss or whatever, but when it came to Shadowverse, like Cygames hasn't like given us any instructions or something like that. So it seems like maybe Cygames has a little bit more control, or maybe just the person I was talking to was not part of anything to do with Shadowverse as much, But I guess we'll see how it goes. The judge program goes. I still need to finish my test. I know, Dean, you finished it. We had a few other people who were.
What do you mean you still have to finish it? Wait, what do you mean?
Because I never looked. Okay, because when I looked at it, I was like, I could answer half of these correct for sure without even looking at the rulebook, and the other half, I was like, I need to actually read the rulebook a little bit on how things resolve in order to like get the correct answer. So I've been busy.
I'm a loose cannon. I look and I say, I know like most of these, maybe the others don't matter as much.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I checked the rule book a couple times and I go, that's probably close enough.
I can't wait till you get it back.
Judge. Maybe I'm the judge that tells you, that card trooper doesn't know for cost.
Oh, Dean's the true evil judge that everyone does not want, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my
Secretly,
god.
I am the.
Oh man. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in that and being like help the community grow as far as the judge stuff goes, check that out. Check their social media links out. It's somewhere out there. I wish I had the link, but I don't. But yeah, I guess we can kind of move on from there. We're a couple weeks in finally, so Dean and I figured we should talk about what our thoughts are in the meta, how things are shaping up, because though we had some information from Japan and Singapore about like ideas of the meta, we were experiencing different things, and like players who don't even look at Japan at all or Singapore or looked at any of that information, they're coming to their own conclusions, making their own list, and like think certain things are like undervalued and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, do you want to start off, Dean? I've been talking so much.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I keep looking for those good names. I personally think I'm kind of like looking through the looking glass right now, right? Mm-hmm. I've only had an 8-man locals where 3 people brought all the decks for everyone, so we didn't really. Right, we haven't felt like a real locals yet. We have had a locals, but we haven't felt a real locals. You guys are having 40-man locals. I heard about like 50-man locals. Just crazy numbers from other places.
Yeah.
Super exciting stuff. Hopefully one day we can get there. It's all about just getting those new players in. But some of the stuff sounds like maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm reading, but some of these places sound like cursed, where it's like, oh, you see dragon every round, and every round everyone's playing dragon, and their forte on turn 3, they just drop the forte and swing for the 5, and you can't do anything because you use all of your mana the turn before. And that sounds like there's a lot of room for like some metagaming, right? Like Angelic Snipe sounds like a hell of a card in this meta. Like, right? Like, yeah. And so I'm hoping that, like, as time goes on, maybe we realize that, like, maybe Dragon isn't the end-all be-all. Like, it might be the best deck, but there's definitely a lot of things you can do to counter it. And I'm excited to see once we start getting those actual reports out. I'm assuming that we're going to see actually quite diverse tops, because it feels like everything is kind of good, which is why when I hear a locals is, like, 50% Dragon or something, I go, wow, there's no way the gap is that big, right?
Yeah,
that might be like a more like cynical look at like the way the metagames form, but like, man, 50% is like what it feels like other people are telling me, but I don't believe it. There's sword and like aggro are like so good into dragon that I find it hard to believe.
Yeah, I think like the aggro players are supposed to keep dragon in check usually if they're getting too greedy and like not having a good early game to like, you know, or like, yeah, like either dropping bell ringers or something like that, or like trading efficiently and like mulling for dragon warrior and stuff like that. If they're getting greedy and just like deciding to ramp immediately instead of like, you know, maybe I should play a little bit slower because I win this matchup as long as I control the board. Um, yeah, like aggro and stuff and sword should keep dragon in check. I personally think sword has, especially if you play towards the longer game, I think sword outperforms against dragon in most matchups. Essentially, I think they have a lot of very good tools that just like tell dragon, like, you know, I get to blow up your guy that cost 8 this turn by only like spending 6 or 4 mana or something like that, right? And I still get to build a board and present again, like, can you deal with this again? And my experience so far is that dragon like uses a lot of resources and can't get there against sword that often, when especially when sword has some tech against dragon. So yeah, it's yeah, I definitely feel like it's a balancing act, but at least in my locals now, honestly, a lot of people like got like, I assume there's still like that core group of like, we're playing dragon because we just love dragon.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's always going to be that.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing those, but 50%.
Yeah,
there's 6 classes in the game.
Yeah, I think the first week and stuff at some of these locals, like it was very heavily dragon favored because everyone just came in with dragon for the most part. Because we were seeing like a lot of tops where it's like dragon, rune, dragon. We're like top 4, like a lot of these random local stuff like that.
Yeah.
But definitely like this week, at least in my locals, there's a big shift in like what people are playing. For some reason here, a lot of people jump to Haven. I don't know what caused them to do that.
Deck?
Yeah, it is a very good deck. I kind of suck with Haven. I need to work on it more. But I've been watching some of the matches here who people are playing Haven and just playing like heavy control and stuff. And they like, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're playing super well and everything like that. But for some reason, everyone this week just jumped to Haven. So we still had our core group of dragon players who were like dominating a lot of other matches. But then there was like a handful of Haven players running around. I saw a lot more rune recently. I know rune in general is like I think a lot of people who get into this game just like rune in general because it lets you cast spells, draw lots of cards. Yeah, and runes are a very cool deck. I really like rune also. So I've been seeing a lot more of that. A lot less sword recently also. I think just either people finally opened up more boxes and were able to build other decks and they're just tired of playing sword, because sword has such a, I guess, linear game plan. Basically, we play the dudes, we buff the dudes, we swing with the dudes. It's like all we do, and we don't have any really good interaction except for like 1 or 2 spells, or if we tech in like execution or something like that. But yeah, but besides that, like, what do you think right now? Like the tier list kind of looks like. Do you think they're like? So I think I don't know if you 100% agree, but I do still think Dragon is probably, when you look at the spread of matchups, Dragon is probably still the best deck and best craft to be playing in general. If you care about like the spread of like going into random stuff, or do you think anything plays even better?
Oh man, maybe. Yeah, I think our tier list at the beginning was like pretty close. That like, yeah, Dragon and Aggro Abyss is so strong.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you're with me on that, but like, man, there was like games, it was like turn 4 and I'm like going into the turn with 12 health.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm dead.
Yeah, I had a lot of games like that.
Dark General with its 5/5 stat line is really gross to like play into, and it's just like, I feel like it's just a lot better at Sword at deleting you. Sword has also been better than I thought. I think move that one up to tier 1.5. I'm still not a believer in Banner overall, but people aren't playing Execution that I've seen. Have you seen a lot of Execution?
I've seen executions, but a lot of people aren't even using the execution on the banner itself. And honestly, I like the way I play too. I'm also like not a believer of banner in general. I think the card is good when the game has to go very long and you find a turn, you can drop it and then it can build value over time. And like, but if you're playing banner, I feel like either you play the banner and it wins you the game within 1 or 2 turns because the pump that turn like deals so much extra damage, or you're playing it to like literally play for the next like 5+ turns because you know the game's gonna go long. So like every time I played Banner, it was hard to weave in, but the games that went long and I weaved it in like semi early, like maybe turn 5 or even 4 sometimes, and I got so much value in the long run. But definitely, like I only play 2 Banner, and like a lot of games I don't even want to see Banner. And it's more of like a happy accident. I feel like it's never a card I'm like, damn, I wish I had Banner right now. Sage Commander though, been doing a lot of work, and I only play it as a one of and search it out when I need it usually, but it's I kind of want to play 2 now, but every game I've played and been able to slam Sage Commander on the board, it's like a better what is it, a better Banner almost, because you get that 5/5 body also, and it doesn't necessarily take up slot on the board, you know, when you're used to going very wide as Sword. But yeah, I do think we might have miscalculated how good Sword is in general. I think when it comes to aggro, I think our initial tier 1 was like on the money. I think Abyss aggro is probably the best aggro. If you want to do and I don't want to say brain dead, because I think there are some like complicated turns to find lethal with aggro Abyss. But if you want like the best, like all in, I'm going to kill you by turn 7, if we even make it to turn 7, that's the list to play. If you want a little bit slower, and I don't want to say slower aggro, but something that might feel a little bit more stable-ish, where if like people start trading into you, you still have creatures or followers on board. Maybe Sword is a little bit better in that sense, if you go more all in on the aggro aspect of Sword. But I do think the slower Sword is like probably around tier 1.5 or so. And I do think
the slower Sword is the better one to play as well. I think like that you have like such good cards.
Yeah, and like you have ways to search out like cards in certain matchups that you might need, that you could technically be running lower counts of, whereas like other decks don't have that really, other than like maybe Merlin lets you search spells, right?
Yeah, but I was gonna say is there's also something that we forgot to account for, which is there are people recently that have been, you know, we have new technology. We just take the D shift out, we take the Flame Destroyers out, and they're on pure spell boost.
Oh, I saw that. I actually put that list together to like test later.
That's probably real. That's probably
I think it's real.
So bad. D shift is so bad.
I think it's still worth running like a random 1 of D shift, because I think there are lines in the deck though that where like you can pop off with a D shift and end the game immediately. But that list looked very solid. I saw it came out of Chicago. I don't have the guy's name on hand, otherwise I'd give him a shout out. Khalil, there we go.
The Midwest Chief. There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry for big. He was big in the buddy fight community.
Yeah. I saw that list. I put it together immediately because I was still in the process of putting a room deck together. I was like, screw it, I'll try this out, because I already know how D shift plays like from before and everything. So maybe I can try this, because I think I know you love Dirt Rune. I think Dirt Rune is really good, but I kind of don't want to play it right now. And so I was like, I'm going to play Spell Chain, and this list looked pretty sick. But yeah, so yeah.
Real talk, you know what I want to put in my Dirt Rune deck? I want to put a Gilgamesh in.
Oh, I think that's pretty sick actually. I saw early.
Gilgamesh is like,
I think week 1 and 2. I saw people just play Gilgamesh as like 6 out of hand storm damage, which is really big. And a lot of people were like pretty convinced like this is like, you know, it's not the best storm follower, but the fact that it's like straight up neutral and can go into any deck, and like it's kind of unexpected, it really catches people off guard sometimes.
I think it would almost replace Lucifer in the list right now, because Lucifer is only kind of really to like Evo, but I feel like if I just drop Lucifer, he dies. And the heal doesn't matter. Because it's such an aggressive deck that like I don't think that Lucifer's doing anything in it. I think like just a Gilgamesh slamming for 7 would end or 6 would just end the game much better. So
yeah, worth something to check out or test out, I guess, right? But yeah, I think I mean, I guess to wrap this up, I think generally our initial tier list for the most part was kind of on the money for the most part. I think the only thing we kind of messed up on was Sword. I think Sword is the slower Sword that is definitely a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. And then do you think anything else came out of like the tier 3 range? I think everything kind of got bumped up into tier 2, right? essentially.
Yeah,
Because
Force is doing better than I thought it would. From some people, and some people are including the Roach, some people aren't. And once again, like I don't play Force, so I'm always going to be a little cynical about it until I lose to it continuously, and then I still won't play it. So
I know I'm not a Forest player myself either, and I'm gonna be very sad when it becomes very more meta relevant, and I'm gonna have to at least play it myself a little bit so I can understand their game plan from their point of view in a lot of matchups. So I'm
but
not looking
I have
forward to
played some
that.
Force, and
Mhm.
Roach is still really awkward. Actually, I don't know how to weave that card in. Maybe I'm just bad, but yeah, I think our tier list was decent for the most part. It was made 2 months before the game came out,
Yeah,
so there are some problems. Don't hate us. I know some people, but
yeah. I'm sure by the end of I guess by the end of the booster one lifespan, we'll probably, or maybe sometime in a few weeks or so, we'll probably redo a tier list video. I think just to get more of our thoughts out there, because I mean we're on like week 3 of the game being out, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I think 3 weeks from now or something, like I think we're gonna have way more understanding. A lot more players all around will understand the game more, and build better decks and play better. Because I know Dean's like, oh, you have so many locals and you're getting so many games in, but I also feel like some of the games I'm getting at locals, they're not very high quality games. Like it lets me see like how, like sometimes I get to see like how matchups go, but other times I'll be playing against someone who isn't like super versed in like all the lines of their own deck, and they built a brand new deck, right? So they're still
yeah.
kind of like fumbling over themselves, even though like maybe they should have been in a good position. And obviously I can take advantage of that because we've been playing a lot more and been talking about the game a lot more before some of these other players have. So I'm sure within within the next 3 weeks, like the landscape of everything will probably look completely different. Like maybe the tier lists we have or whatever won't like really change much, but I think everyone at the end of the day will have such a better understanding of everything that everyone's play is just going to be better, and like the deck lists are going to be more refined, and we're just going to
More
pop
teched
off from
out.
there. Yeah,
More teched
exactly.
out.
I have been seeing some local players like change parts of their deck just for like our local meta stuff. I don't know how many players are actually doing that right now, like very heavily taking towards one thing because they expect like these people to show up with this. But it's been interesting to see how things have been shifting and like changing as landscape, changes for this game. Like, yeah. But I guess I'll throw this in there really quick too. Talking about Forest. Um, the Osaka WGP in Japan for just finished, and Forest actually took it. The list is somewhere on Twitter. I don't have it on me right now. But one thing Dean and I were talking about before we started this recording was, do you guys want us to actually talk about what's going on in Japan, even though they're like a year ahead of us? Like, because we do take a look at things. We do watch like the top 8s and stuff. Usually when the VOD comes out, we'll watch it. I try to catch like live games occasionally, but the timing is always messed up. But the VODs are always available. Is that something you want us to talk about? Because we want to really focus, at least this podcast and mostly this channel, on the English side of the game, the Western side, players, and focus more on what we're doing in our current meta, and not like sit here and talk about what's going to happen 1 year from now, right? But
Yeah.
maybe it's interesting. People will be more interested in like things to come. We can like kind of like trickle down like, oh, this is happening in Japan right now, this is some cool stuff happening, and let you guys know about it, because we do actively look at like Japanese Twitter and like read like the Japanese articles and look at the match videos over there and watch other Japanese YouTubers for Shadowverse Evolve. So we always have like somewhat of an idea of what's happening in Japan. So if you guys are interested in that, please tell us in the comments below, and then we'll start including a small section where we just talk about whatever's going on in Japan, if there's something worth talking about, because they have a little bit more active news cycle than us, because this game is like crazy big in Japan over there. So they're always talking more about like spoiling new cards or sets coming out, and like what different programs and different events that are coming out. So yeah, we're willing to talk about it. Just let us know that that's something you guys want. We don't want to fill this up with stuff that people aren't interested in. But yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. Hopefully soon we're there too. We're just getting off the ground. They they were getting off the ground for the first couple months as well. You want to build that player base, and then you want to start giving them the events, right?
Yeah.
We already have events coming up. I mean, you said you're going to one of these monthlies, right?
Yeah.
You get points, get your name on the board. Are you going to earn the
Wait, do we get points at these?
I thought so. The monthly ones? Am I wrong?
Well, there's 2 monthly ones. There's like the championship showdown thing, and then there's that other one. I think the other one is the one that gets points, right?
Oh.
Maybe I should have
played
played
it right.
Because if we get points today, maybe I should just came with Dragon today. But wait.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think that is basically it for that. I'm gonna do Dean's favorite. Actually,
it's not mine. It's everyone's favorite segment. Guess that flavor text.
All right. So yeah.
Do you want to give them the rules?
No, you give them the rules because
Okay, so the rules are me and Kit are basically competing against each other. Every week, one of us will give the other one a question. And if you guess it right, it's 4 points. But you have 3 lifelines. Each one will take away 1 point. What set the card is in. So currently it's like classic or basic only because we're only doing the cards that are in physical. We're using digital flavor text, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So what set, what class it's in, and then what type of card it is. So monster, spell, or creature, spell, amulet. Yeah. So, or do you have one for me today? I have the game open, but we're not looking at it now. I've been trying to get you some good names for the podcast.
Okay, I have it. I looked this up.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna get it, but
I'm prepared.
Ready?
Give me the hardest one.
Here's the flavor text. I don't know if this is gonna be too hard. I don't know if this is gonna be hard for you at all. But I kind of like this flavor text, so I was like, I'll give Dean this one. All right, here it is.
Okay.
As this realm's protector, I do vow no foe shall step foot on this, our sovereign land, as long as I may stand.
As this world's protector?
As this realm's protector.
As this realm's protector. Is that a Portalcraft card?
You're right, Portalcraft in this game.
As this realm's protector. One more time.
As this realm's protector, I do vow no foe shall step foot on this, our sovereign land, as long as I may stand.
Sounds like Jean of Arc, but I think I need to know. Oh God, the lifelines aren't very useful yet. What class is it?
Class? All right, it's Swordcraft.
Swordcraft. Okay, so Jean of Arc would have been an absolute int.
Jean of Arc though this would sound like something Jean would say.
It does. This realm. Who in Swordcraft would say the word realm and protect?
Albert, secretly, even though he's not out yet.
Albert. I'm Albert's
so hyped for him.
Levin's Saber. Yeah, no. Is that really bad card with Ward? Or is it? Oh wait, it could be Aurelia. I don't know anything about Aurelia. Featherblade, something, True Power.
Come on, Dean. The clock is ticking.
It's rough, right? So right now I'm torn. Is it the 2/3 Ward that's unplayable because that one would be actually really hard for me to get, or is it Aurelia and like a legendary?
Who knows?
The Realm's Protector. Realm's Protector sounds like pretty important, right? It sounds a little more important than Veteran Lancer or whatever the hell that card is. So I think it might be wrong, but I'm gonna go Aurelia.
Aurelia, final answer?
Aurelia is the final answer.
I did it! I beat you!
You did?
Yeah. The actual card is Gemstaff Commander.
Gemstaff, the Realm's Protector?
Yes.
Is the 3/2?
Yeah.
The 3/2?
Yes. The second flare on like the Evo version of it in the digital game is... I think you would have got it if I gave you this one, right? It's bend the knee and gaze upon these jewels where once they're...
Wait, what is it? Wait, what is it you're talking?
All right, let me try. Okay. Bend the knee and gaze upon these jewels where once knelt meekness, now stands the pure brutality Yes, this realm will see you turn to heroes today. I feel like saying like
Holy
jewels and
shit,
stuff would
that
have.
one is intense. I don't know if I would have guessed that one.
I felt like saying jewels and then like you getting swordcraft might have pushed you towards that direction. So I chose the base quote or whatever because
Damn,
I felt like the
that's
one's more ambiguous.
yeah, that one. I mean, like I almost thought. Damn, that's intense. I wasn't even on the map.
Oh my god. Dude, the secondary one that was this part right here. Bend the knee and gaze upon these jewels. Some double entendre going on here. Oh my god. Okay. Oh man.
Jesus
All right.
Christ.
I'm gonna have to study up next week then, because I'm probably gonna get reamed so hard. I'm so bad at these type of games. Oh man. Okay.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. This is okay. I gotta give it to you. This has been a little bit more fun than I anticipated. Especially with these really good lines. Bend the knee and gaze upon these jewels. Oh man.
Oh man, that one would have. Yeah, I don't think I would have ever got that one.
All right, I'm so glad I actually got to beat you here. All right, with that segment wrapped up, we're bringing our final thing. I think we're gonna do this kind of regularly. We're gonna, unless you guys don't like this, let us know. You know, we're willing to, change things around. Our last segment, I think we're gonna do this for the most part. Like, I guess moving forward until we think it's like useless is our market watch type of thing. Let me see. I can open up this for you guys. We can talk about the market. So the second print boosters or next shipment came out recently, and we've noticed there's been a lot more stabilization within the market. Things have been dropping, right? We've been noticing a lot of staples have dropped. Some things, a lot of things coming back in stock. We have like Merlin finally dropped below 30 again. I guess it was 30 last week, right?
The Evo's still really high up, though. I find that a little absurd. But yeah, it was definitely up there, and now it's gone down. You've also noticed Lucifer's.
Aurelius, Aurelia is only $9, basically. Dude, I'm going to pick these up at the store. I have so much store credit. But yeah, go ahead, Lucifer's.
Yeah, Lucifer's are down, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah, they're 28. What about the SL? The SL last week was like 60.
37? It's down to 37.
Was it down to 37? Let's see. It's probably over here.
It's good. Honestly, Lucifer's a bad card to hold. That's my advice to people.
Oh yeah, it's down to 46 here. It was last week. It was like $60, but yeah, this card's only
shelf life is not very long.
Yeah, it's like good now, maybe okayish at best in set 2, and after that, like just basically disappears, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's probably some cases where it might be ran later on, but yeah. Bellringers though still holding strong, 36. Jesus Christ! Oh no, this is the foil one though. I should sell my foil one. I actually have one foil one. But how much our normal bell ringers are? I think by the end of the booster one, I think they should all stabilize around $15 or less, right? Yeah. So we're down to 17 here, which is I think a relatively okay price for a TCG player. Because I always feel TCG player is a little bit more expensive. Dean showing off his bling here. You got 3. Did you open all of those, or did you trade or buy any of them?
Oh no, we bought 2 of these.
How much did you buy them for?
I think like 20 and 30. So
not bad.
Definitely excited to have those. I want to have the nice bling. Not willing to buy all the bling. Like Merlin's $50. That's a little yikes. That's a little yikes for me. Yeah.
The shots are only 12. Interesting, but also the PR cards that came out recently, they're really expensive right now. Like these, $15 each, basically. I got a couple of these floor fencers from going to these events, which is really nice. I assume these promos are going to drop very heavily soon, because I think in Japan also these are all like anywhere from $1 to like $5 cards at most. So
it depends on the one. Trail of Light and Angelic Barrage were up, but I don't know. Do we have Trail of Light in there?
No, we don't have a promo release for Trail of Light yet. So
okay, I know that one was like Omega Stonks.
This is insane. Fafnir, the starter deck card, $18 on here. Just buy a starter deck and then get 3. Like,
why would you buy a trial deck to resell the cards inside when there's like right? Like
Yeah,
I think the trial decks as like a thing for people to sell as like the individual cards doesn't make sense. So
it doesn't make sense at all. It's like definitely because like you get. I mean, I guess on the bright side, when you go like, hey, if you want to get in this game, get the starter deck. It's like $20-$25. But look, it comes with 3 cards of this copy of this card that comes. It's $18 each. Actually, you can like
infinite money
yeah,
glitch.
infinite money glitch.
Confirmed.
But yeah, you honestly, if you need any starter deck cards, you should just buy the starter deck. That's what I've been doing, using all my store credit from winnings to buy everything. I think I only need one starter deck left myself, which is Forestcraft, because like I said, I don't really want to play Forestcraft, but I'll pick it up eventually when I have to, because I do know in the next few sets Forest does get better, much better. Yep. Oh, the foil version of Bellringer Angel is only $7, $8. Not bad. But yeah, it looks like the market overall has been stabilizing nicely, and yeah, I hope to see more. I assume there's going to be when more printings come out. Hopefully everything will drop again a little bit, and yeah, because I kind of like right now. Most of the decks in this game are relatively cheap. I feel like compared to other card games. You think, except Pokemon. Pokemon's like you can give someone $5 and have a meta deck if you get low rarity.
Much. It's what it feels like. Well, it's like $30 in Pokemon. The starter decks adding $25 to the cost of a lot of decks is a little bit like that's something you do have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, if you can just like not put Bellringers in your deck, you're good to go. And for people who wanted a budget deck, I'm going to be doing a deck profile probably like in paper later this week of a Dragoncraft list that's like super cheap to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there's options, and it does depend on the class and what you're playing, right? I feel like if you're playing Fortes and stuff, or any rune deck, you can get up there pretty fast.
Yeah, I think I think there was a document going around earlier, but I know Dragon is the most expensive, obviously, and then I want to say after that it was like it had to be Runecraft. I can't imagine anything else being more expensive than that. Definitely, if you're new to the game and you're listening to this, it'd be really weird, I guess, if you're listening to this for the first time. But Swordcraft is one of the easier ones to like buy the starter deck and then build out from there, because a lot of the cards from the starter deck are very good. But yeah, that's usually very cheap deck to get put together. And yeah, like Dean said, if you can avoid Bellringer Angels and stuff, you'll be able to save a lot of money. Essentially, you save like immediately, like what, like $90
almost.
Yeah, or yeah, $60 almost or whatever. So, but yeah, I think that basically wraps up our cast for this week. You have anything? I guess closing. What?
I think it's time to name the cast.
Oh,
I've given you quite a few options.
Oh, okay. We're gonna do it literally right now.
We're gonna do it live. We do it live. That's what I've been doing. I went through 310 pages of Shadowverse card names.
Okay. First off, okay, I'm looking at these that you DM'd me. Roundtable Assembly, no. Cool card, it looks like. Makes sense a little bit. I don't like it. Dragon Council actually sounds pretty sick, because everyone's playing Dragon right now. Dragon Council's pretty good. Woodland Band, no thank you, because I hate Forestcraft.
Okay.
All right, Midnight Gossip. Oh man, this card
Midnight
art is
Gossip
so
sounds
good.
a little, it sounds a little raunchy.
Who's that standing there above? What's her face? What's this girl's name again? I forget her name.
It's Mono and Mistalina, who is from the Verdant Conflict. She's a cat girl with a shield and sword.
Yeah, dude, Mono's so sick, dude. I remember playing that deck, and oh, dude, that card is so good. Passing of Lore. Passing of Lore sounds kind of sick.
We got two
story
ones as well.
The Morning Star and Lessons from... How do you say that?
Lanecrest.
Lanecrest? Lessons from Lanecrest. Huh. I think we just have to go with Dragon Council, because it sounds the most
Dragon Council.
Yeah, because I feel like Dragon right now is the big thing. It sounds good. You think? You thinking Dragon Council?
I think all of them were good. So yeah, Dragon Council it is.
All right. I guess from here on out, should I name this one first? Or
Can't believe it's not Midnight Gossip.
Midnight Gossip does sound pretty good though. Okay, wait.
Probably not though. That sounds a little.
We'll just leave it up to the people who are actually watching and have them vote in the comments below, right?
Yeah, leave it up. Do you want to? Yeah, I guess we can.
I swear to God, if we get some name like that's like
the Morning Star.
No. Like, okay, like I just think about like leaving polls up to like the internet. It just reminds me a lot about like stupid 4chan stuff where they're like naming things like Hitler lover and stuff like that. Please don't do that, please. All right.
No. Wait. We gotta use at least ours, right? We gotta at least be like, hey, these are the 4 options, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, should we leave it a little bit open so like if someone comes up with something if they think is better?
Oh yeah, if somebody's got something sick, then yeah, take it. Yeah. My thought was something within the Shadowverse realm, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's lay it out for people if they're gonna make or try to throw their name that they come up with into the ring. We want it somewhat Shadowverse related, please. You could just tell us like how it's related or whatever if you want, like if it points to a card or something like that. I saw some other ones from the other comments too, if you want to repost those also. But I think what we'll do is we'll leave the comment section open for everyone. Whatever one you like, check down there if someone already wrote that they like it, and then hit the thumbs up on those comments. And I guess by time of next recording, whatever one has the most thumbs up, we'll probably go with that one, unless it's actually insanely stupid or something. But honestly, if it's actually funny, we might still go with it anyway. Do you think that sounds good, Dean?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun for everyone. But I think that kind of wraps us up here, unless we have any last minute things to talk about or say.
I think that's it.
All right, awesome, guys. We'll see you next week when we have a new name for the cast, I guess, because that next episode will have the full name and everything. We'll see you later, guys, everyone. Peace.